What's going on, Panthers Nation? It's Aaron Duncan here, back again with another Panthers video here on Necessary Bluntness Sports Talk. And I'm here to recap the Philly versus Carolina game. I usually do these videos live. I apologize. I was really in my feelings. I'm just like you guys. I'm a Panthers fan, and I didn't want to get on this camera without having my head in the right space yesterday, so I apologize to that. But if you're new here, man, consider subscribing. Like I said, I do recap and analysis of the NFL and the Panthers, so if you want to see more videos, go ahead and subscribe button and the bell icon. Today's video is not going to be as cute and edited like I normally do. I'm just going to kind of just ramble off stuff in my reaction and speak up with, so just keep up with me. I'm not going to be all over the place, but just try to keep up with me. I'm going to start with the offense, though. I'll start with the good stuff because it's few and far between on the offense. I was happy to see that Chuba Hubbard really emerged. Had his first 100-yard game, the first rookie running back in Carolina Panthers history to have a 100-yard game since Jonathan Stewart. Big time for Chuba, as you guys know. Some people were doubting Chuba, but me, as you saw in my previous video breakdown that I did on him, I thought Chuba had the potential to do certain things. They played to his strength yesterday, running the ball outside, and it really showed. He had 24 carries, 101 yards. I told you guys if he added a little bit more weight, he could be ready to be he could be a bigger factor in this offense. Now, we'll see what happens when Christian McCaffrey comes back, how big of a role he has, but I was happy to see that he had a pretty solid game. I know the Eagles' rush defense was like, 31st in the league? So there was opportunity for us to have some success on the ground, and we did. From a running back standpoint when it came to him. So I'm really proud of what Chuba showed as a rookie. Like I said, if he has a little bit more bulk, gets a little bit more shape of carrying that ball 20-plus times a game on the NFL level, he'll be fine. Because you can see after a couple carries in the game, he starts to get heavy legs and he needs a little bit of a break. But that's just the cost of, one, him not being used to carrying that big of a load on this level. And it's been a little while since he had that big of a workload compared to what he did at Oklahoma State. But I was really proud of Chuba Hubbard. Also, another bright side was Ian Thomas actually emerging. I don't even know the numbers. I could look it up, but I was just happy to see that he actually was a factor and wasn't only catching simple flat routes and going down pretty easy. He actually caught some catches over the middle. The numbers look like 4 receptions for 40 yards. Doesn't seem like much, but this is a lot more than anything that we've got from, one, the tight end spot, but two, Ian Thomas in general. We know we traded Dan Arnold to get, C.J. Henderson. So it was good to actually see Ian get some work across the middle. We saw Tommy Tremble get a touchdown catch. Not a ton more from Tommy Tremble in the game, but we see that we're actually utilizing the tight end, and it's actually good to see them be a factor. Now, the bad part. So let's start with this shift that happened. Obviously, Cam Erving, our starting left tackle, for better or for worse, was out this game. So we decided to put our star right tackle, Taylor Moton, at left tackle. We decided to put Brady Christensen, our third-round pick out of BYU rookie, at right tackle. Now, a lot of people were scratching their head because they said, okay, hey, Brady Christensen played left tackle in college. Taylor Moton's been playing right tackle his whole career. One of the highest paid guys at right tackle. Why would you switch it up when the footwork is so crazy? But Matt Rhule had been giving us hints about this for a while. He told us in training camp that he felt like the backup left tackle would be Taylor Moton. So this is not really a surprise, but it's still a head scratcher, especially when, like I said, these guys have natural positions and the footwork can be a little bit different. You take a guy that's good at his position at right tackle and make him average at left tackle. He did hold his own, but you could tell that Taylor Moton still looks a little bit awkward, and against better competition, he could struggle playing left tackle if Cam Erving's out. So we'll see. I mean, this group obviously values versatility over anything else when it comes to offensive linemen, and they just want to shift guys around instead of letting them get comfortable in the position that they do play. The whole offensive line struggled. I mean, it's just what it is. There was a lot of pressure. Brady Christensen seemed unmatched. He's the outmatch, Inside, of course, is where the Eagles' strength is with Fletcher Cox and Javon Hargraves, and they put on the clinic. Javon Hargraves made Dennis Daly look like chopped liver on one of those sacks, and those guys were just disruptive the whole day, and Sam Darnold never got comfortable. He just never got comfortable. 3 interceptions by Sam Darnold, and some of them, he had clean pockets on some of them, but that's what happens. When you have pressure for most of the time, your quarterback really never gets comfortable. They always feel the pressure. It's not always about getting sacks, even though they got, 4 sacks on us. Sometimes after a while, you start to feel the pressure, your footwork gets bad, and Sam Darnold starts to resort to the old Sam Darnold. Now, some of you guys may say that, hey, you can't blame Sam for everything. The offensive line is bad. That's the easy cop-out. Sam Darnold has to do better decision making. When you're backed up in the red zone, don't force the ball into a hole on cover two, throwing it up, and have Darius Slay intercept the pass. You know what I'm saying? That's just not something you want to do. And people are really underestimating the aspect of Christian McCaffrey be out. I told you guys from day one that Christian McCaffrey was probably going to be the best thing to happen to Sam Darnold's career, because before he does bonehead stuff like we saw yesterday, he could just check it down to the ultimate safety blanket in Christian McCaffrey, and that's what he had been doing. That's why he looked so good in games 1 through 3. But then when you don't have that safety blanket, because Chuba Hubbard struggles catching the ball, like he just really just can't catch it all. I don't know what it is. Like his hands are just stone. As good as he was as a running back today, like I praised him earlier, he just had stone hands. And so when Sam Darnold doesn't have that safety blanket that he could check it down to, that could turn those 5-yard catches into 8, 10, 15-yard plays and get easy first downs, they're not there. And then you see Sam Darnold booting out to the right in clutch situations, missing Robbie Anderson on a simple out route that could have converted and probably won us the game. Those are the type of plays that define it. People are critical because Teddy Bridgewater only checked the ball down, but Teddy was fairly accurate in the short area. Sometimes being able to pick up 3-4 yard passing plays matter, especially in clutch situations when it's 3rd and 2 or 3rd and 3 like that, when it's too long to run, but short enough where you should be able to get easy passes. And some people are asking for Joe Brady's head. There's only certain things that he can do. Yes, he's not perfect. Yes, he's still learning some procedural issues as far as burning timeouts, because we're too slow at the line of scrimmage, too slow getting the play in, too slow being in and out of the huddle. I will knock him for that. And obviously we heard some of the Eagles defenders saying that on that last interception on the sideline that he got Robbie to pretty much end the game, that we've been running that play before and it became predictable. So now people are saying we're predictable. However, there's only certain limitations you can do in games when your offensive line is bad or your quarterback's not reading properly. There were guys open on the play. It's not like people aren't open. It's not people aren't getting open. It's not like these plays aren't scheming guys open. You just have to deliver and execute. Coaches coach, players need to execute. Sam is not executing. He's forcing the ball. He's missing the easy passes, like I said to Robbie. That's called execution. That's called execution. Because if you're looking at some of these film, there, like I said, there's guys open. There's options there. We just have to be able to give him time to get through those reads. He has to process it quick enough, and he has to get rid of the ball. So it's all about execution to an extent. Outside or at the receiver position, we had struggles, and we saw Robbie Anderson visibly frustrated on the sideline. Who knows what it was about? He was going at the receivers coach, but we don't know what it is. We probably never will know. I'm sure the media will ask about it today because it was on the broadcast, but we'll probably never know what it was about. But obviously, Robbie being open at sometimes, but he's not completely blameless. Some of his routes can be lazy at times. He's not always getting the separation that a guy like DJ Moore is getting. So Sam feels a little bit more comfortable forcing the ball to DJ because he comes up with more contested catches and more big-time catches. I think there's a lot of blame to go around in general, but Robbie Anderson's lack of production is not a good thing in this offense. We have way too many weapons to be forcing the ball to DJ Moore every play, and obviously the defense is keying on him, which is why you see more turnovers come when we're targeting DJ these past couple games when it comes to Diggs and Slay. I mean, back-to-back games where you give the same corner 2 interceptions in the game. I mean, we got Patrick Peterson coming up next week, another good corner that's going to be probably lined up on DJ Moore. It's not going to get any better when it comes to facing quality corners. But there's just a lot left to be desired, a lot left to be desired. But let's go ahead and talk about this defense, because the defense played good enough to win, guys. They played good enough to win. The only knock I could probably have on the defense is that that safety that should have been a touchdown, they fumbled the ball 2 or 3 different times. That touchdown might have won the game for us. Who knows? And maybe a couple missed sacks by Haason Reddick, but he had a sack and a half, so it's hard for me to completely blame him. But there were crucial sacks that we were missed that allowed Jalen Hurts to make plays on certain situations or get rid of the ball that could have really been drive killers, but we didn't get him down because he's just that elusive. But it pays to have a mobile quarterback like Jalen Hurts because they can make plays when things go wrong. So you got to give credit to them too. But at the same time, for the defense to force a turnover, you know what I'm saying, force two turnovers by Donte Jackson, who balled out with bone-crushing hits. He's been tackling like crazy. I know the corner competition is getting stiff with all the guys we're bringing in, but Donte Jackson has continued to be consistent and play ball in his contract year. He needs to be rewarded with a contract. It's getting weird depending on how C.J. Henderson's development is. We'll see what happens. But I did see a lot of Keith Taylor yesterday and not so much of CJ playing the whole time. So that is definitely something to pay attention to as this, like I said, as the competition gets stiff and how we decide to try to fit in Stephon Gilmore into this lineup. Nevertheless, 2 turnovers forced by Donte Jackson, a bad snap that turned into a safety by the defense. They put up 2 points themselves, you know what I'm saying? And it's just, what more can you ask for? They only gave up 21 points. Some of it came off of turnovers, obviously, because we turned the ball over in our opponent's territory. So you're putting their backs against the wall. You gave up less than 300 yards of total offense. Like, what more can you ask for from this defense? They're doing their thing. Phil Snow decided not to blitz so much. When he blitzed, that's kind of when we got left vulnerable, and Jalen Hurts was able to make plays. So we played a lot of coverage. We only brought 4 at times and played a lot of coverage. We had a lot of success doing that. It's just Phil Snow has that urge to blitz, and when he did, we paid a little bit for it. But like I said, there's not too much I could really gripe on about this team when it comes to defense, because they did their thing. Like, we had a 15-3 lead, and the offense only scored 3 points in the second half. It's like, even without Shaq and JC, and it's it's frustrating. This defense definitely deserves better. It hurts to watch. It hurts to watch. And I'm glad they had a bounce back game after what happened last week against Dallas. Obviously, like I said, we got embarrassed on the run game, but they gave up less than 100 yards yesterday. Gave up, like I said, less than 300 yards of total offense. I can't be too mad at them. The offense has to be able to play complementary football and help them out. Complementary football is not making dumb mistakes and putting the defense in bad positions. Complementary football is playing ball control, giving the defense enough rest to be fresh for the whole game so they can be productive. We didn't see that last week. We didn't see that this week, but the defense still was able to carry the mail for the most part, but it just wasn't enough. And the only reason I'm complaining about the defense missing these sacks and not getting a touchdown instead of a safety is because the bar is just so high for them at this point, because we know that the offense is so pathetic. Like, we have to expect more from the defense just because our offense is that bad. There's no knock on them. It's just how it is in my eyes. But from a coaching standpoint, Matt Rhule, the procedural stuff still is weird. Like, punting from certain scenarios, calling a timeout to punt after you're doing whatever, using Joseph Charlton as the holder, but then snapping it to Zane Gonzalez for him to punt just for it to be a touchback, getting too cute, not being aggressive, trying to play to these analytics. I don't even think that you say you lean on analytics, but you let your kicker punt the ball and it blew up in your face. It ended up being a touchback anyway. Then you have a block punt. A block punt. I don't know the updated stat, but I looked at the article from 2010, is that 90% of teams that block a punt in the game win a game. It's just so devastating. The momentum that it takes from the team is bone crushing. Right after the Robbie Anderson missed pass from Sam Darnold, we get a block punt, and the sky comes falling down. You can feel that this game was probably going to be over after that. But like I said, the numbers back it up. 90% chance. 90%. Like I said, the article from 2010, so that was 10 years ago. But it's still, because block punts don't happen that often, I'm sure the numbers are still pretty consistent around that 80%, 90% range of teams that block punts and win games. So that's just the special team laps continue to kick our tail. The bonehead decisions from that. Like, it may not be a big factor on the college level where Matt Rhule came from, but in NFL, special teams matter. They matter. They matter. So block punts from your kicker, they end up being touchbacks when you try to get too cute. Punting the ball when you probably should have went from it from midfield or whatever, being aggressive. You got to lean on your defense, man. There's no consistency or rhyme or reason to when it goes for it, when it doesn't. He doesn't really have a feel for the team or feel for the game. Like, building a team and building a culture is one thing, but you still have to be able to manage a game, make decisions, work the referees when they give you bad calls, make the right call when it comes to challenging plays or when not to challenge plays, know when to keep your timeouts, know when to take penalties instead of burning your timeouts. This is just something that Matt Rhule has consistently struggled with. Consistently. And that's also a part of coaching too. It's not just building strategy and getting good players. You have to be able to manage the game too, and that's something that he lacks at times. So it's just frustrating, man. But you guys let me know down below in the comments how you feel after yesterday's game. It really hurt because this was a comeback victory, a lead that we blew. You know, back in 2018, we had a fourth quarter comeback. Cam Newton brought us from 18 down in the fourth quarter to beat the Eagles. I imagine this is probably exactly how they felt after that, because my heart hurts. Like I said, I couldn't even do the live stream yesterday because I felt so bad. I'm not lying. And the even more irony is, back in college, back when they were at Baylor, they faced Jalen Hurts twice. twice when in his single season at Oklahoma. The first time they played him, they had a 28-3 lead against Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts ended up coming back to win the game. That is correct. Matt Rhule pulled in Atlanta Falcons and blew a 28-3 lead to the same Jalen Hurts that came back from 15-3 yesterday. The irony is crazy. But you guys let me know down below in the comments how you feel, man. I'm off this thing, man. I'll see you next time. Peace.